We are Facebook Live. We are YouTube Live. Good morning. It is the 5th of February, and it's about 11:30 in the morning. And my name is David, and welcome to today's episode of Just Bantering. We're going to do some serious type bantering today. No, not really. It doesn't. Yesterday, I very proudly uh, announced, launched the Institute of Creative Marketing and Sales. It is actually has been an ongoing project of mine, a work in progress, as I like to say, since 2007, when I actually created Dreaming with Entrepreneurs LLC. And I had a lot of dreams as I was putting the company together, the vision, the mission, whatever it is that we were going to be doing. And one of those was to create a community where folks who were either in business or folks who wanted to start a business, and they were in need of creative marketing and sales. And I have yet to find a small business who is not in need of creative marketing and sales. But in today's world, it's a different proposition today, because you remember I back in April of last year, I announced my involvement with the New American Business Plan. And as I read about the New American Business Plan to see where Dreaming with Entrepreneurs could fit, I said, well, our expertise is marketing and sales. We've been doing it for a lot of years, so let's do something along those lines. And it's a very exciting experience. I had for the last 18 months, when I first started to create my legacy story. Two friends of mine were on me for a long time that I needed to tell the story, and they wanted me to write a book, and I didn't want to write a book. I've already done that. I wanted to tell the story in videos and in actual projects, because that is truly what my legacy is all about. I should step back for a moment and share what I have done with my lifetime in business. And I definitely don't recommend that other folks necessarily think this way. It worked for me, but it worked for me. And in my lifetime, instead of saying I wanted to start a business and I wanted it to grow and I wanted to do millions and millions of dollars of sales, I never ever really took that approach. I've been very well. I started my career in the publishing business, and that at that point in time, I actually had I bought a publication before my 25th birthday, 24th birthday, and so the 70s were very structured years in publishing. But as I entered the 80s, I wanted to change. I wanted to do something different. So I created some projects in the 80s, and all of those had to do with direct marketing and direct mail. I brokered the creation and distribution of millions of pieces of direct mail back in the 80s. And it was a fun time. But when the 90s came along, I took a step back and I did something that I never thought I would do. And I did some research and I found a company that I wanted to get involved with, and perhaps in the employee sense, maybe, if it was right. So I pursued, and I was very fortunate into being able to get triaged by the two gentlemen who actually started the company, and it was in its infant stages back then. And um, 6 weeks later, after we had that discussion, I got a phone call on a Saturday night, literally a Saturday night at 6 o'clock, and one of the two individuals was calling me and saying, was I still interested in pursuing that opportunity that we had discussed with them? And I said, sure. So he said, we'll be in our offices Monday morning. I want you to meet somebody. And anyway, I ended up, after that interview, I was speaking with the gentleman who was actually the president of the company, and he flew me out to Utah the next day, and I became involved with that company. Well, one of the reasons why I'm telling this story, because there is a time in the true entrepreneur's life when they wonder, are they doing things right, or maybe they have a job, a secure job, but yet they want to do it on their terms. They want to run the company how they want to run the company. So it's a lot of times folks they have a job, so to speak, and they decide that they want to do it on their own. And so the question is, well, when do you leave? Do you do what? Do you start to create your business in the evenings while you're working during the days? So it's a struggle. It's a challenge for entrepreneurs to do. But the true ones who really have a mission and a dream and a vision, they're going to figure out how to make it happen. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. So I went to work for this company. I'd done my research, and as I said, it was a company that I really wanted to get involved with because they were actually the leaders in the world. No, not at that time. Not at that time. They were destined to become leaders in the world, size-wise, company-wise, as to what they did. It was the telemarketing world and customer service. So outbound calls, but taking way more inbound calls from folks, and creating customer care environments. So when you have a problem with a company, you have an 800 number to call. The chances were very good that this company was handling your call, or one of their competitors. Anyway, it was a very, very conservative company. The two gentlemen who founded it were from Procter and Gamble. The one gentleman was the boss of the other one at Procter and Gamble. They left Procter and Gamble to start this company. Being where they were at Procter and Gamble, they didn't have to work part-time at night. They just said, "I'm doing it. Let's go." So it was a very, very conservative company, but I didn't necessarily do all the things I was supposed to do in terms of when we had to do presentations to prospects or to clients. There was a very formal way to do the presentation, and I never got into the formality of that presentation. But we certainly made things made things happen. And the company kind of let me do what I do best, and I was very successful with them. But the reason being was they saw and they recognized an entrepreneurial spirit. So that's why they just kind of let me do my thing as long as I met their expectations. Well, not only the 9 years that I was there did I meet their expectations, but I actually exceeded their expectations, I think, every year that I was there. The reason being, as I said, they allowed me to. Uh, I when I traveled, I really had an unlimited expense account when I traveled potentially, but me with my entrepreneurial mindset, I spent their money as if it was my own money. So I didn't go for all the lavish. Uh, I didn't go for hotel rooms. I could have stayed in hotel rooms for 2 and 3 times what I paid for a hotel room, but I had no desire to do that. So back to entrepreneurial aspects, and in the 80s and 90s, we took a little different turn, but we're very, very pleasant. And um, that actually gave me an opportunity. That was a time in my life where, because of the company with whom I was affiliated, I could get into uh, virtually any office that I wanted to present the story of the company. Okay, so that happened in the 90s, and in 2000, I started to go online. Uh, Literally the year 2000. I remember it very, very well because I was on a team as a marketing and sales consultant for an insurance company who was real concerned about Y2K. If you remember back 21 years ago, when computers were going to go from 1999 to the number 200, there was great concern whether or not the computers were properly programmed, and would companies lose files and da da da. And it was a commotion. But uh, I guess that's when I took my opportunity to leave and go back on my own. And so I've been doing online things for 21 years. Uh, it was in 2007 that the summer of 2007, my oldest son Jordan, who at that time was a sophomore, in between his sophomore and junior years of marketing at the Ohio State, he came home that summer, and he said, "Dad, you're not marketing yourself right. You're not branding yourself right. You're not advertising yourself right." I said, "Well, Jordan, what is it that I'm doing right?" So we had a big laugh over that. He and I that summer rebranded myself, what it is that I wanted to do. It was actually Jordan's challenging me that made me really sit down and say, okay, here's what I want to do with my life. Here's what I need to do with my life to make it happen. And that was the summer of 2007. So I started Dreaming with Entrepreneurs that year. I created an LLC, and I had a couple different things that I wanted to accomplish with Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. One of those things, as I said, now we've completed the circle, was the Institute. I didn't know what it was going to be called back in 2007, but we're calling it the Institute of Creative Marketing and Sales. So I made that announcement yesterday. I told you the corporate offices were moving to Columbus, Ohio on April 1st. The Institute is going to its home is going to be a domain, dwe.com. Solutions. The textbooks for our institute are all the videos that we've created that have a marketing and sales theme to them. I have had those discussions with, well, you'll see 5 people if you go to the sites and the affiliated sites. And interestingly enough, I sent an email to those 5 people, 6 people, 7 people. I sent an email actually this morning and I sent a copy of the video, the Facebook Live and the YouTube that I did yesterday. I put it in the email to them, and they've been with me. Well, we've been friends, the group, for as long as 10 years, and the average is 7 years. Within 10 minutes of one of the 6 individuals, and it's a time zone thing. Barbara Weltman replied 10 minutes after she got the email. She said, I want to do a video. I want to be in the Institute. How about next Friday at 10 o'clock? Just a week from today at 10 o'clock. I said, absolutely. So I now have our first official, the other ones were unofficial, but our first official guest of the Institute of Creative Marketing and Sales. So we've got a lot of videos, learning videos about business. Well, some of them are very much about business in general. My specialty has always been marketing and sales, so I don't have experience with other aspects of the business. So that's why I call upon friends to help me out with those aspects. We have affiliated web communities. Well, in addition to smallbizdavid.com and mylegacystory.site, those are the most recent ones. And well, we have over 21, 22 episodes in smallbizdavid.com. And Legacy Story actually talks about one of the services, one of the products that we know works because it works for me. It has worked for me, and I will share those experiences with folks who come into the Institute. I have 3 websites that I built. I didn't build them, but I created them. A friend built them for me 5 years ago. I think it is already. Yeah, it is 5 years. And their healthcare.info are their domains. Solopreneurs, baby boomers, millennials, healthcare.info. I have the framework of those websites built, but I have never used them. And now we're ready to use them. We can build those sites. So within the Institute, I'm creating business opportunities right there for folks who want to get involved. And of course, most of the folks that will be attending our Institute, I am sure are going to be solopreneurs. A solopreneur is simply an entrepreneur who operates by themselves, don't have companies that they're building up. When they need things, services done, they go out and collaborate with other small business solopreneurs, typically, or maybe not. They might deal with other companies. It shouldn't just limit it to solopreneurs, but they create collaborative partnerships. And that is going to be a very main theme of our Institute, is that the future of small business is in the collaboration. Okay, so for the solopreneurs, I've created another domain, solopreneur.services. Anybody coming to the Institute, they'll have the major program and there'll be a lot of service opportunities created at a special a site only available to folks at the Institute. And then, of course, as always, we will banter whenever just to have some fun. And of course, we do that at JustBanyering.tv. The one thing that I did not mention, well, there's a couple things, but one of the major things that I did not mention yesterday, oh, I might have lost Facebook Live. Well, we'll see what happens. One of the major things that I did not talk about yesterday, it is going to be my intention, and I've started to work on it already, to make scholarships available to what I would call qualified applicants. To determine if an applicant is qualified, they will have a 15-minute video discussion with me, and it will only take me 15 minutes of triaging to find out what kind of contribution they can make to the Institute of Creative Marketing Sales. We'll provide the resources, the learning tools, but we need folks, obviously, to take advantage and get businesses started, create new revenue streams so businesses can get started, or to reposition, rebrand, remarket, rethink whatever the marketing and sales strategy is, because now businesses of today, the new businesses being created with the new American business plan, it's going to be a much, people are going to pay, the customer are going to be paying more attention to those businesses than they ever have before. Oh, it ended. I lost the signal on Facebook, so let me just hit this post now. Okay, so I'm going to be making scholarships available. As a matter of fact, I'm putting together a community of 100, and we're going to have a 100-day program, and just follow the program, and you will, at the end of the 100 days, you will definitely be able to define what are the next steps. Where do I go from here? So that's about. I said that my friend Barbara Weltman is has agreed to be the very first guest that I have in our classroom, in our institute discussions next Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be it for today. I want to thank you, and please tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody that you tell your social media circles about our Institute of Creative Marketing and Sales. My name is David, and we'll see you again real soon.